Yeah.
Are you gonna be in here while we're doing it?
Rocks, weeds, and then.
Keep on rocks and then weeds.
So Emmett, what to do to end the stream? So you guys are live right now. You might want to wait just about 10 seconds and then get going. Okay.
All right. Hello, and welcome to Bible Banter, sponsored by Creighton Preparatory School of Nebraska. This is our first time on the air. Hope it sounds good.
So our topic for the day is the parable of the sower, and it's found in all three of the Synoptic Gospels. That's Matthew, Mark, and Luke.
We like to start with the significance of the description of the crowd. So in Matthew and Mark, the crowd is so large that Jesus had to go out on the water and teach them from a boat.
In Luke, water is not mentioned, but it is said that people from many towns came to listen to Jesus teach.
In The Chosen, it shows that the crowd is growing so large that the disciples are having to repeat what Jesus has said and shout it across because there's so many people.
And so we drew a connection between that and the parable of the mustard seed, and how the mustard seed is like a tiny seed, but then it grows and like it gets huge. So that's like the crowd. And then we also drew a connection from the depiction in Matthew and Mark, and how Jesus was on the water and sort of like catching men, how he like got the first apostles, and how he told them like, you're going to be catching men now.
One question for us. How is this telling us how to enter the KOG, the Kingdom of God? What correspondence does this have with the Kingdom of God?
So this would be a kingdom response parable, because it's telling us like how do we need to be, how do we need to act in order to enter the kingdom of God. So in the parable of the sower, there's a sower, and the sower is sowing the seeds, and so some of the seeds fall on bad soil and they get eaten up by the birds, and the birds sort of depict the devil, and some of the seeds fall on like all right soil, but then they get choked out by the weeds. So the weeds would be like distractions in their life. And then some of the seeds fall on good soil and they like grow and produce things in abundance. And those seeds, or that soil, would be like the people who take the teaching to heart. And so this was one of the few parables that Jesus actually explained. So Jesus is the sower and the seeds are the teaching. So we are the soil, and the kind of soil is how we react.
So if we react like the good soil, we'll enter the kingdom of God.
Yes.
Okay.
So then we want to add some context. So in Matthew, in the footnotes of Matthew, it says in Palestine at the time of Jesus, they would sow the seeds before they plow. So basically, when you plow the field, you like get all the soil ready. But if they sow before they plow, then some of the seeds will fall on like not good soil, right? So it's almost like the judgment day, how we have to be ready. So the good seeds that fall on the good soil, or the seeds that fall on the good soil, like they will produce in abundance because the soil was ready, but the bad soil was not ready. So, yeah.
So what you're basically saying is that if you're getting distracted by the world, or getting not paying attention to the world, you're not going to be going to heaven,
or you'll go to purgatory.
All right.
What are some good things that we can use this and teach other people? How can we use this to teach other people and bring them into the kingdom of God?
Well, so the good soil is good, right? Because it's void of like distractions. So what we need to do is put God first. That's
right.
That's essentially what this parable is teaching us, is that we need to like God needs to come first, so that we can like grow in abundance.
Right, but like how would you use this to teach somebody that's not a non-believer? How would you use this to your advantage, like a tool in your tool belt to bring other people to Jesus?
I think it shows like what could happen if like you give your life to Jesus. Like it shows the good and the bad. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and reading this requires like context. You have to understand like the process of growing like seed and like growing produce to
Yeah.
understand how this works. So it sets an example. It sets an example of what to do and like what not to do.
Okay. Like just like in the tool belt. I'm just trying to think like the best, most simple way you can teach this to somebody. Because that would be amazing. Getting somebody to believe in Jesus, like that's awesome.
You'd want to. Well, so obviously, like seed. So the seed is good. We would agree that the seed is good because the seed, like. Okay, we just have to believe that the seed is good for this premise. So the seed that falls on the bad soil is wasted, right?
Yeah.
And so we can agree that waste is bad.
Yes, wasted.
So you want to be like the good soil where like you're not squandering the teaching, right? You have to be open to learning.
All right, so how would we act upon that? How would we act upon that, like through the world and show your actions?
Like being open to God's message.
So main thing to take away from this, open to God's message, right?
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you for listening to the Bible Banter.